Hi, I'm Will Howard, and we're going to go someplace today where no one is ever allowed. Maybe once every 20 years. We're going to see the new Easton Police Department, which has doubled in size. Actually, it's gotten about 10 times its size in my lifetime, seeing the new Easton Police Department back in the 50s when it opened. We're going to go inside, we're going to talk to the chief, some department heads, and look backwards and look forwards. Join me. Now, back when I was growing up in the 50s, this was all just empty. There was nothing here now, but today, it's right across the street from the new Talbot County Jail, and it's right beside the courthouse. So it's all one complex together. Let's go in and take a look. This is pretty fancy stuff. Hi, I'm Will Howard. I've got an appointment with the chief. Can you call him for me? He'll be right here. Okay, good, super. Now, no one ever is allowed beyond here unless you got this code, so we'll go see today. You told me that this was fashioned after the FBI training facility, or somebody told me that. There's a very similar corridor.
Well, it's a similar corridor through the FBI National Academy. Everywhere you go, they have these open connecting hallways with glass everywhere. So it reminds me of that when I went there. But yeah, and these two rooms here are set up for our interview rooms. We're mandated under Maryland law to have certain interviews that are conducted for certain crimes. They have to be audio and visually recorded. So these two rooms are set up and designed so that we can do that.
Where's the recording? Is it through the mirror? Or?
No, the recording, there's cameras located right inside the office, the room, and it's recorded, obviously somewhere else, but the actual video. This was our temporary entrance when we were under construction. Now, when obviously we were staying over there, and while this was being built, and when this was finished, we had to move completely into this building, and so that they could rehab the old building. This is our recruiting poster thing, and we take this out when we're doing recruiting drives at some of the local colleges and things like that. So we've set this up today. It's not here every day, but we've set this up today for display for the public as they come through. This is the administrative wing.
Wow, this is a great design. Take a look at that.
Yeah. Well, every architect has to put their stamp on something, and so they use this as the opportunity to make their own, put their own stamp on it, if you will. If you notice outside, when you go outside and look, what they tried to do is they tried to match the surrounding facilities and buildings. If you look at the circuit court and some of the other buildings, this is the same height, and there's the same type of peak out there. The brick stone that goes up, if you look at it and look at the ones, they tried to match it. So that's why you have the high peak, and they elected to, what we wanted to have in the new building. In the old building, we had very few windows at all.
I know.
So there was a lot of sick building syndrome. So in here, we wanted to have natural ambient light that comes in. Most of these windows, all the offices, as you see, they have a window that can be opened at the top. The bottom windows can't, but the top windows can be. So like on a nice fall or spring day, you can open that and get some natural air into the building so the building breathes, if you will. So it's quite impressive when you look up.
It is.
But
that's your office down there?
My office is down here.
And these are the commander's officers here?
Commanders, 3 lieutenants are in here. Mrs. Wright, my secretary, is here. This is the deputy chief, Captain Waltrip's office in there.
Good. How are you doing?
This is my office.
Very nice. Very nice. A little smaller than Eddie's office, but you got more windows.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's nice to be able to see out.
Now, we'll speak to Chief Walters about special ops, right?
Actually, Lieutenant Wright is the commander of that division.
Okay.
And I don't know where he is. He's not at his desk. This is Lieutenant Robar, who's in charge of the patrol guys.
Right.
Lieutenant Wright used to be in charge of the patrol guys, but he's now, here he comes now. Lieutenant Wright.
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great.
We want to see about special ops. You got anything out to show us today?
Sure.
Good.
And Lieutenant Henry is in charge of support services division. This is his office in there.
Great. Everybody's dressed up today. Let's get a shot here as we go in. Wow, this is really cool. This is like something right out of a movie set.
Special Operations Division. This houses the department's narcotics detectives, criminal investigators, and bicycle patrol officers. The sergeants for each one of those units have their own offices, and out here is a common work area where it promotes the sharing of information from a narcotics investigation to a criminal investigation, and within those units as well. We have a planning area, which has already been used several times for some investigations that really yielded good results for us in the community.
Designed as a large table so they can spread things out if they need to over the table. There's cabinets underneath to keep all their supplies and stuff in.
I see on the backs of these desks here, are these flak jackets?
Yes.
They are. So they're
Portable.
easily grabbed and run.
Yes.
How many special?
They're designed to be worn. Most officers wear their vest underneath their shirt. Those are designed to be worn on the outside.
Like the special ops guys.
Yeah.
How many special ops operations have you had in the last year where the actually men wear those on the outside, wear helmets, etc., take the big guns?
The tactical unit, I'm not completely aware of that, but we can find that answer out.
Okay. Will you
Now-
show us some tactical?
We'll show you some. We don't have a great deal of need for them as far as the number of times that they went out probably would not impress you. The important thing is that those guys are there, they're trained and have the equipment that's ready. So when you do need it, when they're needed, something bad is really going on and you don't have time to run around looking for stuff and hoping you have people that are trained to deal with these things. They're trained to deal with very dangerous situations, and they train monthly to stay on top of those things. So we're proud that they're not needed a lot because that means a lot of good things are happening in town, but they are there and well trained and well equipped when we need them. So
Good.
that's why I said the number of times they go out wouldn't impress you, and that's a good thing. But they are the most important thing for the public to know is that they are trained and equipped and ready to go.
That's good. Well, then I won't hold you to a year. When's the last time you had to use a force like that? Can you describe that to us? And what happened?
About 1 month ago, we conducted a search warrant on a prostitution house on Dover Street. We ended up charging 2 individuals for that crime, and that investigation is still continuing on.
So when that happened, what time did you,
That was
Do the raid.
that was early morning entry.
like 5 o'clock in the morning?
It was sunlight.
So you get dressed up with all that gear on because you...
They get dressed up. I just
So they
stand in
get
the
dressed
back.
up, okay.
Yeah, those tactically trained. These guys aren't your tactical officers.
Okay.
Now these vests are because these guys are plainclothes detectives, so they don't typically wear a bulletproof vest under the uniform. But there's a need for them to have these because there are times when they help serve a search warrant or their investigation. They have something easily accessible to
I
put
see.
on real quick.
But tactical falls under your jurisdiction, right?
No.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay. Can we talk to the tactical person?
That would be Lieutenant Robar, but he wasn't in his office when we came by.
Okay.
We may run into him as we go around.
Okay. Well, thanks for the tour. This is really nice.
Great. Glad you enjoyed it.
Thank you.
He's not going to give you a lot of his trade secrets.
He's not going to lie?
He's not going to give you a lot of his trade secrets.
I'll make it look good.
This is First Sergeant Thomas's office. She's assistant lieutenant with patrol.
Hi, Sergeant. Good, thanks.
When would you like to do that?
This is the patrol division. This is where the officers report to work each day. The patrol officers, each patrol sergeant has their own office and their corporal. And then the guys come here, they all have a place where they can sit down and check their email and messages and things like that. And then we conduct roll call in here before every shift where we give them instructions about what went on, what's going on day, the expectations, if we have any bolos or, security checks and things of that nature. Those are conducted in.
So these will be officers that do radar for traffic?
Yeah, these are the ones that you see riding around in a marked patrol car.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, I've noticed on a couple of spots in Easton, like Glebe Road, where you seem to be doing a land office business with radar out there.
Well, we have certain officers that are dedicated to traffic enforcement. You know, that's one of their primary responsibilities. That's not their only thing. They're still full service police officers. But we have many locations in town where we're, you know, constantly getting complaints about speeders or people running red lights, running stop signs, and those kinds of things. So we have a fair amount of traffic accidents in town. So we're out there trying to enforce the traffic laws, you know, and get people to comply, you know, with the traffic laws. So when we get complaints about a particular area, if we're having a rash of accidents in the location, we'll assign the officers to directed patrol, meaning they need to go out there and spend a couple hours each day to be there, to be visible, and make enforcement efforts if it's necessary. So as you see in here, each division, if you looked up in special ops, you'll see the same thing. All of them have windows. Again, that's that ambient light to open the feeling. And they don't have windows to the outside, but they do have windows up top.
It's great.
To the outside.
That's great.
So that was Lieutenant Robar, but he snuck off on me.
Let's catch up with Robar. Where did Lieutenant Robar go? Did you see Lieutenant Robar?
Robar, go back to his office. Might went outside. No, that's all right. We'll find him, man. This is our conference room. So if we need to have a conference, we can, you know, have it in here.
Nice. The armory.
Yeah, that's where we store our ammunition and weapons and stuff like that in there.
Can we peek at that?
There isn't much to see. A bunch of boxes of bullets.
I think our viewers would be interested. That's a lot of bullets.
Yep.
Each one of these has how many bullets?
I don't know.
500.
500.
10 boxes.
So we buy our yearly ammunition all at one time.
I
So
see.
That's why it's hard to get it, you know, with the military using all the ammunition. You know, obviously they need to have theirs first. So when we order ours, we order annually.
We also practice too, right? Do you
Oh,
have,
yeah.
do you have a range here?
Yep. And he can speak to you about that
Okay,
because
good.
he's our range instructor.
Lieutenant Robar.
Sir,
Good
how
to
are
see you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
So you're the head of tactical, right?
Yes, sir.
Good. Can you tell us, can you take us to where you're
Absolutely. Right on down the hall here.
You've got to catch this.
I don't want to get the road on me. Wow.
Okay, this is the shot we've been looking for.
This is our tactical armory. Each of our guys have their own locker here where they store their own equipment. And we have the actual gun armory in here that's SWAT specific. They have their own ammo and guns and so forth in there. We're going to have a little bit out on display here today during the open house. But what you see here is a typical get-up, if you will, for each of our guys. They've got their ballistic vest, which is significantly thicker than their average vest that the officers wear. Ballistic helmets, the AR-15 style rifle, knee pads, gas mask, and so forth. But each officer is assigned a get-up similar to that.
So
I'm sorry,
these are your battering rams, this one here?
yes, sir. That is one of the battering rams. We have another one. I think they have it out in the SWAT truck
much does
outside
that
on
weigh?
display. That one's about 65 pounds.
I'll take it to her now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It'll take the door down, and you know, half the time's a frame with it.
So, Lieutenant, tell us about this device you got here.
That's a 40 millimeter grenade launcher, designed almost like a revolver, where it has a rotating cylinder, giving us multiple shot capability. It has an EOTech holographic sight on it for sighting purposes. And what it's used for us is to launch gas, smoke. We also have less than lethal munitions that you see here. These are foam projectiles.
Rubber bullets?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a much softer than, I mean, you can feel that, it's much softer than rubber, it's
Hit by
foam.
it.
But it would cause quite a sting
Yeah, I'll bet.
for crowd control type situations.
And you said you have a range here?
We have a range, not here on facility, but the Easton Police Department does have a range
Off-site.
off-site where we do all of our firearms training and qualifications.
Here's the Sally Port. This is where the vehicles come in.
If we bring in someone who's under arrest, they come in through this door. It's only one way in, one way out. So they come in from the back, and they pull up to the little speaker right there and they announce to the dispatcher inside that they're here and ask them to open the door. They open the door, the officer pull in the door shut so that both doors would be down so it's secure. So when they're dealing with the prisoner, they don't have to worry about anybody from the public, accessing the prisoner or interfering with the officers. The officer bring the prisoner in here. They secure their weapon in those boxes there before they go into the holding facility. Now I'm going in with mine because I know there's nobody in here now because during our tour, the sheriff has graciously allowed that if we arrest somebody, we can take them over there.
Oh, okay.
So I know there's nobody in here, so we can bring the public in here today. But we would bring the prisoner into here. We call this the receiving room. So then I would tell you, okay, take everything out of your pockets, put it up on here. So you put everything up here so I can see what you got. If I got something I don't want you to have, I open these doors. And inside is a tray. I put it inside the tray, lock the door, and shut, and then the only way you can get it is from the other side. Jackets, shoes, and things like that, we don't want you to take it to the holding cell. We'll go in here and they're secured in here. Then we would bring you in one of these two doors. Now you'll see there's two doors. We have 6 holding cells. Typically there's 4 on this side, there's 2 on this side. We have a sliding glass thing that says adult, juvenile, because under federal law we can't have adults and juveniles together. So if I happen to have 6 adults, then I put the adult. So I know if I got a juvenile, I can't bring him in here. Conversely, if I have 6 juveniles, I would put it over here. So the officers would know which way to go with the prisoner. Everything in here is controlled. Once the prisoner gets in here, they never go inside the police facility. They stay inside here. They cannot get out of here without a proper passcode. There's no key that fits the door. They have to have a proper passcode. The officers can talk to the dispatcher here if they need to. And this is a panic button, so if you're fighting somebody and you need help, you can just flip this down, and the cameras will, security cameras will automatically come in on this, and it'll notify the dispatcher to have officers come and help you. And those are located throughout the facility. In this room here is one of our interview rooms. If we need to use pepper spray on you, this is one of the places where we have them wash their eyes out. So if we bring you in and want to talk to you, interview you, so to speak, while you're under arrest, we would do that in here. We have 2 interview rooms, and moving in this area is one of our holding cells. Each holding cell is monitored by a camera that the officer who is sitting in here, we call this the tower room. So if I took Will and put you in there, then I would come over here to do the paperwork that I need to process you, and on this computer here, I would be able to watch you and see what you're doing here. And I can also communicate with you.
I hope this is my only visit here.
Your only visit. And you see we have the windows in here
Oh,
as
that's
well.
cool.
So there's 6 of these. So these are only temporary holding cells. So there's no rest facilities in here.
Right.
If the prisoner has to go to the restroom, there's a restroom we take them to down. And there's an intercom button in each one so we can communicate with the prisoner while we're in there. And this is the prisoner's restroom. This is another interview room. This is where the book. And you see both hallways lead into here. So we would take you out of the cell, bring you down here, photograph you, and fingerprint you, take all the information you
So
need.
fingerprinting's done electronically now?
Yep.
No more ink.
No more.
Can you demonstrate?
No,
Okay.
because it would send off, and then they don't like that.
Oh, I wouldn't want my fingerprints on there.
No. So, but these are like I said, the 4 holding cells down here. You got the 2 on the other side for 6 together. And once we fingerprint you, we take you right back out the same door we came in, go out the side door, and walk over to the commissioner. So you never go into the police department.
And then from the commissioner to the county jail, right?
If the commissioner puts them in jail, yep. And then again, you can't get out of here either. So without the proper access code, So even if the bad guy got loose in here, he can't get out. Can't go no. I think that's pretty much, this down here is just like our lunchroom and locker room and stuff like that. It's
Okay.
not very exciting for you.
All righty. Well, we'll pick it up.
This gentleman here, you probably like to meet. Come here, Jack. He on TV. This is Jack Devon. Jack was the
Hi, Jack. How you
site
doing?
superintendent. He was in charge of the construction for Willow here on site, and he worked very closely with us and did a very good job for us.
It's a beautiful facility. What was your biggest challenge?
I'd say the biggest challenge out here was working hand in hand, which we did very cooperatively with the police department while keeping them functioning. It's always hard to do a building and keep the users of the building functioning, particularly the police department, because they're 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and they got to be on call and ready to go.
Did you ever get locked by accident back there?
No, I didn't, but one of my men did. Yeah. He was back there for 20 minutes one time. I took him back to have him clean something up, and I just forgot about it. And I was like, oh, no, I got to go back and get him. So, yeah, he was back there for a
Well,
minute.
good job. We're going to look forward to speaking to some of your exterior units now and speaking to some of those people. Good job.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. This is Lieutenant Michael Henry, and I've been told that you're also the historian here. You're a native?
That's one of my jobs, yes. I'm a native, lifelong resident of the area.
Now, we were talking about the first police department being in the old fire building, which was on Harrison Street.
It's where the Welcome Center is now.
Oh, that was okay, across the street. The Welcome Center was the first police
Welcome
station.
Center was the first police station.
And it was also the first fire station, too,
Yes.
right? Then they moved across the street,
to where the town office is.
and that was the second police department.
Yes. And then
This
we
is-
then we finally moved over here after I joined the department. I was with the department for about 6 months when we moved here.
We saw some pictures. We'll see a picture of Chief Snoops, is it?
Stoops,
Stoops.
Charles A. Stoops.
Charles A. Stoops, and he was our first, second chief.
Second chief, and our fifth or sixth as well. He was hired twice. Our first chief was Marion Roten. He had been a night watchman and was recommended by the council at the time, or by the mayor.
We don't have a picture of him.
No, we don't. I wish I did, but we don't.
So Snoops?
Stoops.
Stoops. When did Stoops come in?
He came in November of 1906. The police department was actually formed in June of 1906.
Was he the only employee at that time?
No, there was actually 3 other officers that were hired at the same time, and they were considered to be night watchmen, not police officers, as their title gave them.
They had big hats.
They did. The big Bobby type style hats,
Yeah.
and had a little emblem on the top of them. The suits that they wore were navy blue and wool and heavy from the pictures that we've seen. And the first badges were also purchased that year, 1906, at a cost of $9. So
That's a lot of money back then.
it was, and I haven't been able to find one of them either.
So are you allowed to tell me how many members you have of the police department now?
Right now we have 49 sworn officers and 16 support staff.
Well, it's great. It's a beautiful facility.
Thank you.
Thanks for spending time with us.
You're welcome.
We're with retired Lieutenant Harvey Smith, nicknamed Smitty.
That's correct.
How many years were you with the police force?
38 years and 7 months.
Starting when?
Starting in February 1954 till September of 1992
Okay, so when you joined, where was the station?
on Harrison Street.
Okay, was this the old fire department?
That's correct.
And how many cells did you have there?
We only had a couple at that location. Yeah.
So tell me your most interesting story in those 38 years.
I can't really think of anything in particular. I just spent a lot of time as a street police officer and a supervisor. And
Did you ever pull your gun?
Not that I know of. No.
That's a happy thing, right?
Yeah.
We're with PFC Frank Cregan. Frank, what an interesting looking vehicle and interesting looking boxes. Can you tell us about it?
Thank you. I appreciate it. The vehicle we have here is a Chevy HHR. We bought it this year with some funds we'd allocated for a new vehicle.
I've never heard of an HHR.
The HHR is kind of a panel van version, but it's it's small downsize. Most of the companies nowadays don't make full-size vans. Pretty much the Dodge Sprinter is about the only one that's out there. And it was a little too big for our size. We needed something that we could drive around some of our side streets here in town that are a little smaller. An ambulance doesn't get down there as easily as it once did. So that's why we opted for something a little smaller. But it does carry all the equipment we need. We've got a variety of stuff here. Most of the stuff we deal with for evidence collection unit is pretty straightforward. We collect evidence. We don't do a lot of processing. Most of our stuff goes to the Maryland State Police Crime Lab up in Pikesville or down to the lab in Berlin, depending on what it is, for processing. Most of the stuff we do is try to process a scene, detect fingerprints or DNA or blood samples or whatever it might be with the equipment we have, and then we just forward it on up to the crime lab.
Tell us about some of this stuff here.
A few of the things we got out here, this is one of our camera kits. We are transitioning from 35mm to digital pretty much department-wide this year. We're going to have our own processing facility. Nowadays, no one does 35mm processing locally. You have to pretty much send it out. And the problem with that is, you have a chain of custody issue when it comes to photographs. And you also don't want photographs from crime scenes out there for somebody else to see. So this is a forensic light source or an alternate light source, ALS. It is essentially a elaborate black light, if you will. On some of the crime scene shows, you'll see them use it to detect blood or semen, bodily fluids, things like that. This one's a portable unit, has a battery pack, and then it has a handheld unit here, which we can take right into a scene, so it's all charged up and it's always in the truck. It has a variety of different levels that it shines on, and each UV level that it shines detects a different item. So depending on what it is, if you're looking for, you may have to change the filters or you may have to change the goggles depending on the item you're looking for. This is a trajectory kit. We use it for when we've had shootings inside residences, outside residences.
We've seen that on TV too.
I've seen that a couple times probably. We have a couple things here, just a ballistic caliper. We have rods. Usually when we have some of our, we haven't had one in a while, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. But the last one we had a shooting. We used the ballistic trajectory kit to kind of figure out where the shooter was in relationship to the cars that were hit. So you need a static item to do it. So if there's no hits anywhere, you really can't use it. And then inside the kit itself, it has some other measuring devices for distance and tape, and then you need a tripod to get it set up as well. So we have some of the equipment that you see on TV. Some of the equipment you see on TV doesn't actually exist in the real world, so that's why you won't see it here. But we pretty much have everything we need in our truck. The HHR's worked out real great for us so far. It's one of those things that we need to have it in case we need it, but we'd rather not have to use it. So,
right. Well, I'm really impressed with everything I've seen today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for talking with us.
Thanks. You have a great afternoon.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, we've been for a tour here, and it is really impressive. The town of Easton has got all of the facilities to be able to protect our citizens. We're real proud of it.
Well, Will, up until this time, a lot of the equipment was in places where they couldn't use it. They couldn't take full advantage of it. So this facility does give them room to further enhance their stature in the community as a first-class policing agency, and also allows them to support the local agencies in the county. So we're extremely pleased that this is taking place.
Well, I'm very impressed, and I was a police reporter for years for Baltimore, so I've seen a lot of this stuff, and you've got the state of the art right here. We're real proud of it.
We do have, and all the security's in place. The equipment's here. We've got everything we need to really do a fine job for the citizens.
Sure do. This is Will Howard signing off.
You ready, Rocky? 1, 2, 3. Yay!